Hi there, welcome back to Kitely. In this tutorial, we're going to talk a little bit about basic building. Now, to build in VR, you have to have the permission of the owner of the region or island that you're on. And the Kitely Visitor Welcome Island does not allow visitors to build or res objects from their inventory. So to do that, you need to find a sandbox. Sandboxes are areas where permissions are given for visitors to build or open things that they purchase in the Kitely market. Now, Kitely provides a public sandbox, and if you look up here at my address bar, you'll see Kitely Merchants Sandbox. This is a public area for people to come and use whenever they want. To find it, remember that you just use your world map. Go down over here, click on it. You're going to enter Kitely Merchants Sandbox into this find window, or if you can't remember that, enter Kitely, hit find. It will bring up a list of all of Kitely's different islands, and most of these islands are inaccessible. There's only a few that are allowed for the public. Kitely Merchant Sandbox, and hit teleport, and there you go. So, here we are. Now, to build, the first thing you're going to do is go up here to your build menu, pull it down, select Build Tool, Create Tool. Now that brings us to this pop-up window. This window, if you scroll across the top, these icons up here, you'll see all the different options there are. This is all the tools that you need to create in virtual reality. We're going to use the Create tool, that's the magic wand here, and we're going to make a flat screen with different textures on different sides, and we're going to attach it to a website link. So to do that, we're going to click on the cube. There we go. I'm going to move this over to the side. I'm going to click once, and it reses up a cube. Now, if I go to the General tab here, I can give this a name. I'm going to call this Screen, because that's what it's going to be. I go to the Object tab. You can see all the different parameters for this item. These are the position, where it is on the island in VR relative to the 0 point, the size of the object, and everything that you res for the first time in VR with the Create tool is usually half a meter square. And then rotation commands and other distortion commands over here. These are fun to play with too. Over here you'll note locked, physical, temporary, and phantom. Locked is just that, the object is locked, you can't move it or change it. Physical makes the object have physical weight and dimension. Very rarely have I ever seen this used in VR. It uses up quite a bit of memory. And then temporary, when we leave, this object will disappear. And phantom, meaning we can walk right through it. Right now, if I walk into this, it'll stop me. I'll bump into it. If I put phantom, it allows me to walk right through it. It also uses much less memory in VR. Now we're going to leave all these alone for the moment. These are the adjustment keys down here. Now, I can adjust using the size keys here, and you see I can make it bigger, flatter, taller, but all the changes are occurring from the center point of the item. Let's raise this up a little bit. If I click on the stretch key up here, and I move around, you see it gives me this bounding box with these pull toggles on all the sides. I can just grab one of these toggles and pull up. That will change the dimensions just from that one side. It doesn't occur from the center point. So I've created this big screen here. Let's deselect it for a moment so we can look at it. And you see it's kind of this default plain wood grain right here, like light maple. We want to change that. So I'm going to left click to select it while my menu is open. If my menu happens to be closed, I right click, hit edit, and it brings the menu back up. I'm going to go to the texture tab right here. Click on that. You see this is our default texture for pretty much everything that you res for the first time in VR, this pale wood grain. I'm going to click on it. See, it brings me a pop-up menu for pick texture. Now, if I have something nearby that I want to copy the texture identically, I can use this eyedropper, but we're going to go over here to the library, drop-down menu, texture library, and Kitely provides all these complementary textures here. Now you can buy all kinds of textures in the Kitely market, or you can make your own using any photo program and upload them, and we'll do that in just one moment. I'm going to go ahead and click on hardwood. Now that's what the pattern looks like at a 1-to-1 scale. If I close this and we look at ours, it doesn't really look like that. That's because the scale is way out of whack on this. If we go over here to the window, to the edit window, and you see horizontal scale and vertical scale, I want to set these to 1. Okay, and we zoom in a little bit, you can see, there we go. We have a nice 1-to-1 scale texture. Now, it scales onto the biggest surface. You'll notice that the side surfaces over here aren't quite the same. To alter that, go over to Select Face, select just one face of our cube, and then you can play with the scale until you get something that looks like it blends with the other faces. We're not going to mess too much with the wood right now. Now I can change the texture again. Let's say I want to do granite. Granite's an interesting texture. And I'm going to select that face. I'm going to scale that texture down a little bit. There you go. Now it looks like it blends. Okay. Now I've got this giant gray granite slab. Now say I want to change the texture on just one face. That's easy to do. Again, with the Select Face tool, you're just going to click on the face that you want to change. The selection shows up with this circle and the cross in it and the bounding box. I click on this. Let's change that to mahogany. Why not? Okay. So there we have a granite box with a mahogany face on it. Now, to upload a texture, let's click on our texture again. Go to Local. And then you see click Add. It'll bring us up a pop-up menu. Let's go to our desktop, select something fun, hit Open. I'm going to select this. This is the Squirrel of Judgment. Wonders why you're not creating art. Do not disappoint the Squirrel of Judgment. Now, if I leave it as this is a temporary image. I have not uploaded this to the Kitely server, and it will disappear if I go away. So, what I need to do, back to Local, click on the squirrel, hit Upload. This is the name of the texture. It's no charge to upload textures in Kitely, and just click Upload, and it will put it into my inventory under my textures. There it is, the Squirrel of Judgment. I'm going to close that for a minute. I'm going to go back to my inventory key here on my texture window. So away from the local key, that's on my hard drive. This is on the server. Click on the textures. There's the Squirrel of Judgment. There he is. Now he has been loaded onto this cube from the server. So he will stay there the next time someone visits this island if that cube is still here. Now, if I want to add a video link or a website link, I select the face that I want to add it to, and it's highly recommended that you only add a video link to one face. If you add it to the entire cube, it will add that link to every single face of the cube, and when you activate it, they will all start at the same time, and it's absolute chaos. Now, I'm going to go over here. I've got my face selected. I'm going to do my materials drop down, hit Media. There's Media. I'm going to go down and hit Choose. It'll bring me this pop-up. I'm going to enter a website, smarthistory.org. This is a great website for art history teaching resources. I'm going to click OK. This means it's loading. And there it is. Now, to interact with this website, I need to close the build window. You can't try and interact with the website while the build window is open because it thinks you're trying to edit the prim. Close that. I can zoom in on this a little bit. And I have a fully interactive website attached to the face of this prim. So, there you have it. I've created an object, I've given it textures, and I've linked it to a website, and I've uploaded my own image to put on it in its static position. Now, I want to keep this and put it in my inventory. So to do that, you right-click on it, the pie menu comes up, click More, take Copy. Now that went into my inventory. If I go down here and I open my briefcase, and I open my Objects tab right here, you'll see that's it. We named it Screen. There it is. Now if I pull that out of my inventory and I take this and I drag a copy of it over here, that's called resing. There it is. You can see what we made. And this is the default position when something comes up. The texture is what always shows first. If you don't put a texture on a video or website link, all you're going to get is a default white screen here. So remember to add a texture if you're going to put a media link into a prim, just so people know there's something there. So let's close this out. There it is. You've learned basic building in VR. I encourage you to come in and play around with all the different tools. See what you can create. There's lots of different shapes here. Add textures to them, add video links to them, see what happens. Just remember that when you are working in a public sandbox, it's polite to go ahead and delete everything when you're done after you've made a copy of the things that you want to keep. So to delete, just right-click, More, Delete, right-click, More, Delete. And there we go. So I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye-bye.